Hi everyone, how are you doing? So today I've done a Q&A, so I asked for questions on my Instagram. We're moving a lot, so just bear with me. May not lean on the thing. Done. Yeah, so I asked for you to submit questions on the Facebook group, on Instagram, on my TikTok, and you have. So I've got quite a few questions to get through. I'll do my best to kind of keep it in reasonable short period of time so it doesn't kind of drag on. So I will start with the ones that I got on Instagram. I've got a few, but some of them I actually commented directly because I have a few vlogs which answer their questions. So first one is, other than the time zone, what's the biggest adjustment? Okay, so for me, the biggest adjustment was like I've got a 6-year-old, and obviously got the older two I'm not so concerned about, but when Freya started elementary school, my concern was the security against what we're used to in the UK, because obviously in the UK you hand your child in at the school that we're used to, you hand the kids in at the door to the teachers, and the kids' playground is obviously enclosed, the gates are locked, so people can't come and go, the kids can't get out, and at the end of the day the teacher will not allow that age group to leave without physically handing off to a parent or a guardian. That doesn't happen here. I freaked out. So there is the fields and the playground are not completely enclosed. They've got these, like, what I'd say 4 or 5 foot fences, and there's gaps in them, there's not even gates on them, there's multiple points around the field near the trash that people will walk through the playground and the fields to kind of like cut a shortcut. That freaked me out a bit, the fact that they could do that. It also freaked me out that at the end of the day the kids are just hoofed out of the classroom. They don't check to see if you're there or if someone's there to pick them up. They literally open the door, which the school is on a main road, and the door that Freya comes out is into the car park. She's 6, as I keep saying, so I was super concerned with if, you know, for whatever reason you don't make it in there in time for the children to be leaving, what happens. So that did worry me a lot. And also there's lack of attendance in the playground in the morning. So if the kids get the school bus, the ones that, luckily Freya gets a later school bus, and or the attendance and the playground's full of people at that point. But I know some buses get in before the playground attendants are out in the playground, so that did scare me. And I have witnessed the children being, if a child is removed from class for disruptive behaviour, I've seen them sat outside when there's no adult present, so that did blow my mind as well. Another issue I've had actually recently, like this week, was apparently Freya and a friend had gone to the bathroom, and instead of returning back to class they decided to mess about with the doors, so shutting each other in and out of the door, which there's nobody out there. There could be predators out there, people or animal, and that I wasn't happy with that. And the fact that when the teacher rang me to explain the situation, she said that she wasn't the teacher, it was the receptionist, rang me. She goes, well, I'd seen them 15 minutes after they'd gone to the bathroom, and that's what they were doing. Well, in my mind I was like, how is the teacher allowed them to take 15 minutes and not gone looking for them? Why had you left them when you'd seen them and said you need to go back to class, and then another teacher had spotted them shutting each other out of the door? So I'm thinking, who is looking after my kid? Because clearly they are not doing it to the standard that I'm comfortable with. And then at that point their solution was she can only go to the bathroom during school breaks, and Freya has a weak bladder, she's 6, and I said that it wasn't good enough, because if she needed to go to the bathroom, she needed to go to the bathroom. She goes, oh well, we suggest bringing a spare set of clothes. so you're going to embarrass my child by making her wet herself because she can't use the bathroom during class time. No. I obviously kicked off and I said that is not how it's happening. If she'd been told to go to the bathroom on her own, she would have gone there and come straight back. She wouldn't have had a friend to mess about with, because I know my child, that's never been an issue. She doesn't like being on her own. She'll go do it and come straight back. I said, so that's how you'll be doing it from now on. You will not make my child need the toilet so badly that she wets herself because you won't allow her to go to the bathroom because you're incompetent. Anyway, rant over. Sorry about that. So yeah, my biggest adjustment is how, like, the safety protocols at the schools for the younger kids compared to the older kids, and like their way of thinking. There's been a few other issues. I mean, there's been a couple of issues with the other kids' schools I've had, where Evelyn was told, who's 12 by the way, they had a consent class, and I actually had to involve the superintendent of the schools, and they pulled the teacher up about it and said it can't happen. They told the children that they can have sex, consensual sex, as long as they both consent and they're within 2 years of each other from the age of 12, 13. Blew my brain. Please check that out if you're unaware of, you know, consensual sexual ages in Canada, because it is vastly different to the UK. I've then had an issue with Charlie's school where the teacher uses the phone a lot, and Charlie did great at the beginning of the science classes, and as it's gone on his grades have decreased, so we've actually had to pull up his counsellor, so that's getting sorted at the minute. But that could happen in any school, I guess. But the main thing is the consensual sexual age of children and what they're teaching your child in school. Make sure that you're aware of what they're teaching your child at school, and the safety aspect of elementary school. So what's next? Can I explain the tax? I have already explained tax. If you go and check out my other vlogs, there's actually a whole video based around tax. So yeah, go have a look there. Fave thing about Canada compared to the UK. I live on Vancouver Island, so if you don't know much about Vancouver Island, go and Google it, because it is stunning. So nature, I feel like I am constantly living in a movie or on a movie set, because everywhere we go it's absolutely stunning. We have white sand beaches here, so if you didn't know, you could have thought that you were on a beach in Mexico, minus obviously some of the heat, but we do get hot weather in summer, so we'll see then. And then we've got the rainforests, we've got waterfalls, we've got, you know, rivers and lakes, and it's just, it is not, I know we have some of that back in the UK, but not compared to what we have here on the island. So that has to be my fave thing. I am actually getting out more hiking than I did in the UK, because it was kind of boring back there. So that is my fave thing about living in Canada. And how have the dogs coped? Okay, so if you don't know, I've got 2 dogs. Both of them are rescues. One of them is elderly, so he's actually 97% deaf. I think that's what the vet said. So he can hear really, really loud noises, or very, very high pitched noises, but he cannot hear like normal sounds. So if you get close, if you clap at him, he can hear it. But most of the time I have to take like dog biscuits and like chuck it at him to get his attention. And he understands, like we have like a version of sign language with him. So as long as he's looking at you, he knows what you want. The journey was difficult. We did fly in direct, and we flew in direct because we needed to be in Vancouver, and you can't fly 2 dogs in a plane for that amount of time. So because we flew for 7 hours, we needed to fly 9 hours 20, but we couldn't do that, so we needed to fly 7 hours 20. We flew into Toronto. We had a bit of a discussion about what happened in Toronto with the dogs. If you have any questions on that, you know, pop that below. But they told me they would be moved, they would move them from plane to plane, and I wouldn't have to. That was wrong, and the only reason I found out was because I walked to the bathroom and went past the large baggage hold where the large baggage of both my dogs were sat there. So if I'd not gone to the bathroom, I would have had no idea those dogs were there, and I would have left them in bloody Toronto and flew on to Vancouver. So thank goodness I went to Lou. But they've been fine, you know. The minute that they've got here, they settled really easily. They've got no obvious signs of any distress that was caused during the journey. Now, I did fly them myself, and I have found that some of my friends that have done it through other companies and let other people handle their dogs, they have got issues or some psychological issues, which is a shame. So just keep that in mind when you're moving dogs. It's a big thing, or cats, anything, so it's a huge thing for them. So I found, specifically for me, I wasn't bothered about the stress on myself, I was bothered about the stress on the dogs, so I put their needs first and did it myself. So I'm now moving on to some of the Facebook questions that I've got. One is, would you consider a flight, sorry I'm reading them off Facebook as I go. Would you consider a flight with one stopover if you were taking dogs? If I could have flown direct, I'd have flown direct. There's no way in hell I'd do indirect with the dogs ever again. It was, I mean, you get them off, they have to then be pat back on again. No, I'd have flown direct. I would definitely recommend flying direct if that is the option available to you. Next one is, it's a big one. If you will be living in an Airbnb until you find somewhere to rent, how can you know which school catchment area to apply for, or do you need a permanent address to have the school board enroll you? We'll be moving to Vancouver. Okay, so with this, it is about your permanent address, because when you supply proof of address, you need to have paperwork with that on there. However, if you are in an Airbnb for a long period of time, say 6 months, then you can use your Airbnb receipt with the address on it as proof for your catchment area. But the only thing you've got to consider with that is, if you move out of that catchment area to your permanent property, the children will have to move schools. So it's kind of catch-22 sort of thing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you should be able to use your Airbnb. I know people who have used it if they've been in for a long time, but it's not something I would recommend if you're only in for like 2 months. Maybe just hold off enrolling them in school, and do some home learning with them. The next one is there anything you would do differently if you did it again? Good question. I don't think so. Like, everything we all got here. Oh wait, lying. Yes, I would do something differently. The one job my husband had with us moving here was to get a big enough vehicle to take all the luggage, and he didn't do that, so we had to empty all the suitcases, which were brand new, six big suitcases, 4 small suitcases, had to stay at the airport. So got it, all brand new, and then also both of the dogs' dog crates are brand new, never been used. So £600 worth of equipment we had to leave behind because he was incapable of getting a proper vehicle. I would have booked it myself. I would have hired a trailer or something that he could have brought with him, or a truck, anything. I would have organised that and not left it down to him. So that is the one thing I would have changed. What do you miss most about the UK? Beth seems to have answered this for me. Food. That is what I miss most about the UK, because when you come here you think, oh my god, the food's going to be absolutely amazing. Wrong. I miss UK Chinese, I miss UK Indian. No, there's no comparables over here. No, they don't do the same dishes over here. I miss UK takeout pizza. Look, I'm going to be honest, you're all going, oh, you're fatty. I don't care. I'm a big girl. I'm fine with that. My husband's fine with that. I am healthy in the way of I've got no medical problems related to my size. I like food. I really do. Also, like puddings as well here. Like, I miss chocolate fudge cake, because like everything's cheesecake or full of cinnamon. So 100% miss UK food. Like McDonald's sauces aren't the same over here. Even the barbecue's crap. Sorry, but it is. And I even like down to like KFC, like things like that, they're just not the same as back home. So I do like 100% miss the food. Also, I miss the price of food in the UK. Hashtag just saying. Let's have a look. I need to scroll down. Okay. How are you finding the schooling out there, and was it easy process to get them in at school? Well, I think I covered a bit of this in earlier on, but yeah, it's super easy to get them in school. You just go online and register them. It's really simple. I have vlogged that as well, so if you want to have a go have a look over there. Also, I've vlogged the kids' perspective of it, so go have a look at that as well. Last but not least, we have, do you have any car insurance recommendations, please? Righty-ho, car insurance. I live in BC. There is only one insurer in BC, so I can't recommend a insurer because if you're out of province, because they're all different. So yeah, unfortunately I can't really help with that one. It would also, it's very much, you have to shop around. So I have friends in Ontario, I have friends in Alberta, and they've all had to shop around, and it's not like there's a comparison website. You have to just physically ring them and get different quotes. And obviously it's all down to personal situation. So I would never say, even if I was in a place where there is multiple different insurers, I would never sit there and say this is the best one, because it might not suit your situation and it might not suit your budget. So I wouldn't even bother looking at recommendations from people. I would get the name of companies, but obviously when you hear, Google's pretty much straightforward. If you put car insurance in, they'll all come up from wherever you are. But yeah, car insurance in BC, there is only one provider, so there's no drama there. And I think I've got another one someone sent in. Bear with me because I put it on my paper. Okay, someone's asked me what things I've learned since moving to Canada. Okie dokie, get yourself comfy for this one. So gas stations or petrol stations, whatever you want to call them, you'll change, it's gas station over here. In the UK you can either pay at the pump or you pump and then go in and pay. In Canada, that's, most people pay at the pump, but the ones that do want to go in the office and pay, you go in there first, you pay for the amount of fuel that you want, and then you go and fill up. That's how it works here. Also here it's like in the UK, for each fuel type you've got, so if you've got petrol and you've got 3 different types of petrol, you'll have a different hose for each one, and then you'll have your diesel hose. Here you have your diesel hose and you have your gas hose, and then what you do is when you lift your gas hose, you select which fuel type you want, well not which fuel type, which type of petrol that you want, and then fuel up like that. I actually stood there staring at it for quite a while trying to figure out what the hell I do, but that is what you do. Let's also kind of mainly pay the pump, yeah. That's all that. So also in Canada, tax is not included in the cost that you see, but also what I've learned is not everything has tax on top of it. So things like meat and like fruit and veg and stuff, they don't add tax on top of the cost of that. Also, tipping's a big thing here. Now, as typical type Brit, I believe that I'm paying for something, I shouldn't have to then pay again to make up somebody's wages because the proprietor doesn't pay them enough. I do tip here, begrudgingly, but I don't tip for certain things. So I won't tip if I'm getting takeout because I'm not being serviced as I see it. I don't see handing me food over a counter as a service. You're paid to do that. You don't get a tip from me, sorry. I did get annoyed once because we ordered pizza on an app and I paid 15% tip on there, And then when the delivery girl turned up, she stood at the door staring at me. I was like, I paid online. She was like, oh, I was just waiting for the tip. I paid your tip online. She goes, oh, well, that's the people that work there. I'm like, that's not my problem. I paid 15% tip based on what I bought. Go sort it out with your boss. Cold but true. Obviously, my youngest daughter keeps correcting me on some of the terminology. So obviously I say jumper and they're like, what's a jumper? And she's like, mummy, it's a sweater, or they call it a hoodie. That's one of the main ones that I use. Like, and some of the other things that they say, it kind of throws me sometimes. Driving over here, so pedestrians have right of way in Canada, so you just keep that in mind. You don't have right of way on the road. You can also turn right on a red light, because obviously we drive on the right side of the road, so that's not coming across traffic. So yeah, on a red light you can turn, unless it specifically states no right turn on red, you can turn right on the red. But then you also have to remember that the crossing patrols, and the green, you would say green man, it's not so much a green man here, can be on even if your lights are green, or if you go to turn on a red. So you need to keep your eyes out for pedestrians crossing, because again, they have right of way. There are stop signs freaking everywhere, and it's not like giveaway. You do have to come to a full stop, because if you don't and a copper sees you, you're gonna get pulled and ticketed. And there's barely any roundabouts, and when there are roundabouts, because we have one in town, so I think I've seen about 2, 3, we've got 4 roundabouts that I know of and have used, but we've got one in town. And I'm sorry guys, but Canadians do not know how to use a roundabout. They do not know that they have to indicate to go all the way around it, and then indicate to come off the roundabout. And I have seen a few near misses, including one where somebody was coming around and hadn't indicated that they was going all the way around and hadn't indicated off. Made me jump a bit. So yeah, just be prepared. They're not the best drivers in Canada. And also keep in mind that depending on what province you are in, depends on the legal age to take your test, because you can drive at the age of 14 on the roads in, say, Alberta. It's 16 in the BC, so that could also be another reason why some of the drivers aren't that good. Money. So $1 is known as a loonie, and a $2 is known as a toonie, and they do use that phrase all the time. And when I started, I was just like, what now? Oh, okay. Again, something my kids had to teach me. Banks. So with banks, they charge you to have a bank account. Usually you get your first year free, and some banks like CIBC, as long as you keep a minimum of $4,000 in your account, they don't charge you for having the bank account. So that's something that you need to be aware of. That's quite a normal thing over here. I think that's it. That's everything so far that I've learned. Oh, also, if you're visiting a Canadian friend's house, or if you've got any relatives that are Canadian, take your shoes off. It is rude to have your shoes on in somebody else's house in Canada. So yeah, take your shoes off when you go in. So I think that's it. That's a nice short and sweet video, isn't it? My next vlog I will advertise on my Instagram, so if you want to go have a look what the next one's going to be, come and follow me over on Insta. Do like and subscribe to my videos, that would be great. I do try and post as much as possible. Sometimes I'm a bit later, sometimes I do more than one video in 1 week. So the only way you're gonna know when something's out is if you subscribe, and make sure that you put the bell on so that you get the notification when I put a new video up. If there's anything that you would like to see, please put it in the comments if I've not already done so. I'll tell you if I've already got a vlog on it, and you just need to go have a look through the playlist for immigrating to Canada to see what I've got. So that's all. So, oh wait, one more thing, I do have a Facebook group as well, so if you follow me on Instagram, message me on there. I can get you the link to the Facebook book group, and we do things like Zooms and kind of like social calls as well. So it'd be great to meet a few more of you if you're up for that. Anywho, I'll see you in the next one. Okay.